This is going to be just a quick call and an opportunity for us to talk a little bit about the Leadership Development Program. I know Lauren has prepped you for kind of our purpose for today. And then I think that it is actually really, it warms my heart. And I'm so happy that we're actually starting this series with you. And um, and so I'm really looking forward to just highlighting a little bit of some of the programmatic elements that you offer to the leadership development program. And I think it's just so apropos for spaces and places where folks are feeling a little anxious, feeling a little uncertain about the future, and thinking about how all of the things that are happening in the world right now, in the country and outside the country, affect how they connect with each other and relate to each other in the workplace, in personal settings. So I just want to name that and acknowledge that you have a passion for this and such a tremendous and powerful skill set. Um, and I'm just so grateful that the Leadership Development Program and WEIR members get to benefit from that. So I just want to start with gratitude for you giving us your time today.
Thank you
All
so much.
right. You're welcome. So I'm going to jump through, and we've got to move a little fast today. So if it feels a little rushed, I understand that I have another meeting on the side of this conversation. So I am going to do the best I can to get us through today. So first, I just want to talk about WEIR. So Washington Employers for Racial Equity, acronym WEIR, is a coalition that formed in 2020 after George Floyd and many, many other Black bodies were taken. Um, this was an important inflection point in that private employers asked themselves the question about what is in their locus of control to help to end the most disproportionate and disparate treatment experienced by people who identify as Black African American. Some people ask, why name Black Americans? Why name Black Washingtonians? And here is the reason. The reason is because when you look at data across all systems, from healthcare to economic to business to housing, um, and all of the things, social services, the criminal justice system, that the folks who are disproportionately doing the worst are Black Washingtonians. And as a matter of function, we thought that the thing that really differentiated WEIR from all other efforts around this is an opportunity for us to break down to the root causes of systemic inequities and come together in a collaborative space to think more broadly and in practicality about what we can do to close some of those gaps, what we can do to end some of that disproportionate negative outcomes. That was the genesis of WEIR. Now, where are we in going into year four of WEIR, into almost to the halfway mark of the commitments to progress? Hey, we're feeling the pushback. We're feeling the backlash. And we're also having to take a look at our whys and our reasons, our data, to start to think about how can we achieve our aspiration and our goal to have inclusive workplaces, to have inclusive academic institutions, to invest our dollars in ways that support, uplift, and hold and strengthen communities. So that's the WEIR why. And we have never been more committed to the cause of seeking that inclusion in our workplaces, in our academic institutions, in the spaces in which we occupy, and have to work in cross-cultural and multicultural contexts. So that brings us to the leadership development program. And so we're here to talk about the program as it's in its third year of delivery. And I've invited Dr. Hibbs to come in and talk a little bit about the leadership development program. I've also invited Deanna Kennedy, who is our chair of our Washington Business Schools for Racial Equity, which is a subcommittee of the Coalition for WEIR. I've also invited Trymaine Gaither, who is one of our faculty experts who contributes beautiful, amazing, and timely content for working in cross-cultural contexts. And so we've invited these three experts to come in and talk a little bit about their aspects of engagement with WEIR. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Hibbs. Thank you, Dr. Hibbs.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Shirline. And thank you again for reminding us of where we started and really how far we've come. And it's been because of your leadership and really the collective power of all of our partners and the collaborators and stakeholders who really want the same things for Washingtonians. So a little bit about the Leadership Development Program. We are going into our third year. It's gone so quick. We have had fantastic participants and partnerships with many of the businesses representing Washington State. And really it began with universities coming together and looking at what the need was and hearing from what WEIR was saying and putting together some of their best talent to build a curriculum from the public and private universities in Washington. And 4 universities really came forward and said, we have this to offer as part of this mission and this goal. From Washington State, we have Trymaine here today. We also have faculty from the University of Washington, from Seattle University, and from Central Washington University, all from their business programs. And they're esteemed faculty in their areas. And we're so grateful that we have the talent each year to put this program together. And so for the next half hour, we're going to hear from one of our 4 faculty members. We're going to hear from Deanna as the representative of that group of deans of the Washington Business Schools. And then we'll talk a little bit about the program curriculum, the schedule, the proof of concept, and we'll end with some questions and answers that we know some folks have. So it's my pleasure to first introduce Deanna, who will then introduce Trymaine to talk a little bit more about the roots of WEIR in this leadership development program.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Hello, everyone. I'm Deanna Kennedy. I'm the Dean at Western Washington University's College of Business and Economics. And as mentioned, I'm currently the chair of what we call the WBRE, the Washington Business Schools for Racial Equity, which is the subcommittee of WEIR. And I've been on the committee for the last 4 years and was on the subcommittee that was specifically focused on kind of cross-cultural development of both students and then employees in the workforce. And as part of that work, we wanted to come up with something that was collaborative across all of the universities that could really impact positively our community and the organizations that were signatories of WEIR. So it was exciting to work together. It was across all of the public and private universities in the state of Washington, specifically the business schools. And we really did recognize that we're part of the community and can be part of the solution in terms of kind of building capacity for students as well as employees to advance in their careers in Washington State. And so we came together and discussed how we could put together a program. And as mentioned, these 4 universities, also because they're close together locally, it made it very easy to collaborate. And we set up this program in leadership and professional development. And it's a very exciting program. I do want to mention that the business schools, we get together regularly and we consider other initiatives year after year. As we mentioned, this is in year 3 now, but we have other initiatives and that we'll be putting forward in the future. So exciting to work with my colleagues to see how we can, again, make a positive impact and support WEIR and the organizations that are part of it. And ultimately, Washington State. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Trymaine to tell us more about being a professor in this program and about how it all works. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Deanna. And hello, everyone. My name is Trymaine Gaither, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today to discuss mindfulness and self-care in leadership as part of the Washington Employers for Racial Equity program. A little bit about myself. I'm a certified mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher, and I'm a trained mindful self-compassion teacher. As Lauren mentioned, I'm also a faculty member at Washington State University, and I'm also a faculty affiliate at the Center for Mindfulness at Brown University. And my journey has been dedicated to exploring how mindfulness and compassion can transform individuals and heal our communities. In today's fast-paced world, leadership comes with a unique set of challenges, and mindfulness can be a powerful tool to help individuals navigate these complexities. It aids in developing awareness, presence, emotional awareness, emotional regulation, and resilience. These are all essential qualities for effective leadership. By cultivating mindfulness, we enhance our ability to stay grounded, make balanced decisions, and respond thoughtfully to situations that we encounter. And mindfulness isn't just about personal well-being. It profoundly impacts our professional lives. It supports our mental health, fosters empathy, and encourages balanced decision-making. When leaders practice mindfulness, they not only improve their well-being, but they also create a more compassionate and productive workplace culture. To quote Thich Nhat Hanh, one day with compassion is worth more than 100 days without it. And self-care is also a crucial aspect of this journey. By prioritizing our well-being, we set not only a positive example for our teams, but we reduce our own stress. We prevent burnout and promote a healthier, psychologically safe work environment. And this, in turn, fosters a culture where open dialogue is encouraged. People are more comfortable making mistakes and trying again, less fear of failure, and more compassionate interactions become the norm. So in our sessions, we dive into these concepts. We explore the science and benefits of mindfulness. We learn how to create compassionate and brave spaces for dialogue. We discover mindfulness-based approaches, not only to promote self-care, but from community care. We look at race-related stress and all of the forms that shows up. So together we'll work on developing that reflexive thinking that supports racially and culturally non-harming practices, moving from individual awareness to healthier and greater community and organizational well-being. And I'm excited to embark on this journey for the third year, integrating mindfulness and self-compassion in our leadership practices. And I look forward to the next session, the upcoming session. So thank you. And I'll turn it back over to Lauren.
And we are just so blessed and lucky to have you. I'm thinking back to the first two cohorts and listening to you speak and just wishing everyone would have the opportunity to take your session modules. They're just fantastic and never more relevant. So thank you so much for being a part of this amazing team and this enhancing this curriculum to be so meaningful and so impactful across these cohorts. I want to take just a moment to talk about the program logistics. We are entering into our third year. We've had two fantastic cohorts and really demonstrated through assessments both pre and post of the proof of concept that this program makes an impact and really does change behaviors and mindsets in the workplace. A little bit about where we're starting. We are going to be starting this year's cohort on February 13th at Seattle University. There are 10 sessions for the cohort over the course of 11 weeks. 2 of those are in person, both at the start and at the closing ceremony. And then the 8 other sessions are virtual online on Thursday evenings from 4 to 6. The way that the program is designed is really meant to be in partnership with peers, both a mentor and mentee in the workplace, who have an opportunity to work and observe and to meet with each other and to really discuss the concepts and the applications of the content in each of the program modules. There are skills in both mentor and mentorship development. We go over skills in mindfulness and self-compassion, as Trymaine just articulated. There's a wonderful session on negotiation, as well as very practical skills on emotional intelligence and leadership application. So again, over those 10 weeks, we move together as a cohort. It is done in private, and so we often break into modules so folks can have one-on-one time with each other, and also the large group session as well. And it has we have gotten nothing but positive feedback from all of the participants and their employers as well. So it's a really fantastic balance between content, but also very practical application as well. Once graduating from the program, participants will receive a certificate as well as a modified digital badge that they can post on their social media. We encourage you to do that and give you some examples of how that is done. And I think that those are the big pieces of, kind of just the logistics of the program. But I'm going to ask my peers, did I miss anything that we might need to include? Okay, well, I think I got it, but I should add, we're always here to answer questions as well. And we'd also really like to be able to help as folks are soliciting who are the lucky ones who get to participate in this program. We are developing some tools to be able to help support that vetting. This is in demand, it's a first come, first served basis. And we know that we're going to have a lot of spots filled up this year. So if there's any way for us to support you in identifying those individuals and getting them prepared to be successful, we're more than happy to do that. I'm going to next move into some Q&A. I have a question for each of our guests here today. And Trymaine, I'm going to start with you. Can you share a little bit why you think mindfulness and self-care is important in today's workplaces?
Yeah, I think the pandemic taught us a lot about the importance of self-care. And it kind of came on the heels of George Floyd. So we kind of hit with the 1-2 punch. And there was not only, a lot of fear, but because of the isolation, there became an epidemic of loneliness, an epidemic of social isolation. And those have been shown to be cause really bad or negative health risk. And so connection is important. Not only is connection important, we're just realizing that, okay, how it's important to have not only self-care, but I'm on the psychological safety. We're seeing that psychological safety is critical for high-performing teams. Project Aristotle Google came out with a study showing that the top characteristic of a high-performing team is psychological safety. And we can't have psychological safety without, one, having healthy teams where we look at the holistic individual, teams that are mindful, and again, teams that aren't afraid that aren't ridiculed or for failing or making a mistake. So self-care is so critical right now. Burnout is at an all-time high. And so mindfulness, reducing stress in the workplace is becoming just something that's very important right now.
Thank you so much, Rena. This cuts across many of our modules around creating a safe, supportive, and intellectually stimulating environment to really produce some of the best teams that we can have. And we really want that all for some of the outcomes that we have. Thank you so much, Trymaine. I'm going to move to Shirline for the next question. Shirline, what feedback are we hearing from employers about cross-cultural workplace inclusion, and to any of the points that Trymaine mentioned?
Right. One of the biggest things we're hearing from employers are that they still believe very strongly in cross-cultural team cohesion, the ability to communicate, the ability to negotiate and work through differences, that is one of their highest priorities. And there are many things that the corporate environments feel like we've gotten right on this. We're on to something. There are ways in which we have more to learn about how to really measure and how to really reinforce and encourage the value of this. I remember one of the learning development program individuals who at the start of the program came and he's like, what does all this mindfulness stuff have to do with my professional trajectory, my professional pathway? And it was fascinating to me that by the time we were at the back half of the program, that individual was like, I get it. I understand now. Right. And so sometimes when we talk about these things, it feels, and to a business person, like it's sort of airy fairy, softy stuff. I believe that these are absolutely technical skills, hard skills, right? That are just as important as your ability to code, your ability to compute, your ability to sell. And so that is one of the things that I think was our biggest hurdle and challenge, to get our business members to understand the value of this valuable collection of habits that we are forming in the leadership development program. Thank you for asking the question, Lauren.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And one last question, Deanna, could you explain why the business schools joined WEIR and how this collaboration aligns with the greater mission of the institution and the department?
Sure. So I think there is a number of reasons that we came together in the beginning. In particular, when we saw this initiative come up following the events of George Floyd, we wanted to be part of something that brought us all together for the greater good of Washington State. And really kind of that resounding theme of racial equity. We were really all very supportive of that, but we could see that if we did something in collaboration, we could make a greater impact. In terms of how it resonates with our missions of our universities and our schools, well, first of all, if you are a graduate and alumni of a university here in Washington State, please go out and check your mission statements. And if you were in a school of business, because this particular program and project, I think, really aligns with what we see in our mission statements, really around societal impact. So we want to not only educate our students so that they go out and they're prepared to make a positive impact on society, but we're thinking of learners throughout their life, right? So not just as students while they're in college, as an undergraduate, but we want to ensure that we're supporting the learners of our state throughout their life if they're coming back and they want to, as an adult learner, during their career path. And we want to make sure that we're here for that as well. And I think in particular, this program really shows that we're trying to reach out and support students or support learners as they're in their career path. So this really does align with the mission statements of our universities. I think also I would want to say that if you were to look at across our universities, one of the statistics that we know very well is that most of the graduates of universities here in the state of Washington stay in the state of Washington. So we're not just preparing students that graduate and leave our communities, but we are really engaged with the students and the future students and learners because they are our neighbors, they're our community members, and we want to be able to support them and have that connection. So, you know, as a university, we always want to stay connected to our alumni, but also make sure that we're supporting our community and our region and our state. So if I encourage you to reach out to a university, reach out to a dean. We'd love to talk to you and hear more about what the needs are in our areas. So this really is something that's collaborative. As we mentioned, it's the various business school deans. And again, I think it was that idea that we could do something bigger if we work together collaboratively. So this is a really exciting project, but it's, as I said, kind of just the beginning. I'm excited to see what else we can do. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Deanna, for that collective impact. And Shirline, we're going to have you wrap it up.
All right, I'll do just that. First of all, as I mentioned at the top of the call, thank you both. Thank you for joining us with WEIR and for shepherding this, powerful, phenomenal aspect of our coalition. Trymaine, thank you for your subject matter expertise, your heart, and your passion for this work. We are such a lucky program. The last thing I'll do is thank Dr. Hibbs for just having so much drive, so much passion, so much interest in being my partner in the space and just the bridge, to help us tap this excellent aspect of our coalition. I just don't think we could do this without you. I also want to thank an alumnus and a part of sort of the seed of this particular program, and that is Andy Parks. Anderson Parks has retired and was a former faculty member, and when I first joined WEIR, he was just my ride or die guy, just moving me quickly through my learning curve so that I understand very, very clearly the value proposition, how to advocate for this internally within the coalition, and how to find the funding and all the things we needed to pull this program together and deliver it with excellence. And so I don't want to close without thanking him in his absence. And hopefully we'll get to actually capture some aspect of his story and his inspiration as part of this series as well. So if you are a Weir member company, this is a benefit of your membership in Weir. It is something that we charge no additional fee to join the leadership development program. That will not always be the case. And so I will encourage organizations who are thinking about joining the leadership development program to get this excellent, excellent benefit to reach out to me, reach out to Dr. Hibbs, and let us know your interest. And we're happy to get you oriented and get you signed up for the 2025 cohort of the leadership development program. So with that, we will close for today and see you again at the next information session. Thank you.